Hi, this is Canevolution, and this is my second video update. Basically, what we got here is I went to the hydroponics store the other day, and I picked up a few things. So this is what we're going to be using for the next grow. Basically, what we got is some coco coir, and I've never used this stuff before. I think it has to be soaked in water. I guess it is right there. I think it has to be soaked in water or whatever overnight or something I heard online, so that's what we'll probably do with that to get that ready. And then another amendment that we use for the soil is some earthworm castings, and they're just your standard earthworm castings. Nitrogen in there, and then the soil that I picked up is a new soil that I haven't used yet, and that's it's Just Right, and I believe it's made by General Hydroponics. Got subculture M and subculture B in there, and all sorts of good stuff. Rare earth, coco coir, forest humus, earthworm castings, silica stone. All that stuff is good stuff that you don't, a lot of it you don't actually see in even premium soil mixes, like the silica stone and the humus. You don't see them a lot, or the rare earth. So I think this would be some really good soil. The guy says it's the best soil you can buy, but it's also the most expensive. So he may have just been saying that. And then also, what we're going to be planting them in is these bags right here, and they're basically based on the air prune method, and these are some cheap recycled ones. I don't know if you can see the name on them or not. I don't even know what they're called, Root something, but they're the cheap organic, cheap recycled ones. They're only like $2-3 a piece, and basically the roots grow to the edge of them, and then when they grow out of them, they get air pruned, and then they'll branch off and go elsewhere and look for nutrients and water. So you're supposed to be able to grow larger plants in smaller pots with these, so hopefully we'll be able to use them and not have to require as much soil, which is, anyone that grows the soil knows this can get very expensive buying soil pretty quick. Another amendment that I'm not going to use this time that I used before is mushroom compost, and I'm saving that actually to make tea out of it, because that's the last bag I got. I can't get any more until the local nursery or whatever in town gets some. So I'm going to be saving that. But normally that's what I cut my soil with is mushroom compost, but I'm going to be using the coco coir this time to cut it. And over here are some other organic nutrients. I didn't get these. I had these from my other grows, but just to get an idea of some supplements that you can use that are organic. First is bone meal, and this Epsisona. I think you can pretty much get that in any state, at any local nurseries and stuff like that. It's a pretty popular brand that they carry, and they make all sorts of kind of stuff. Dried blood, another real good one. It's basically, I think this is high nitrogen. This is high phosphorus. A little bit of nitrogen. And then your rock phosphate, which is of course phosphorus. And this probably works a little bit better if you can put it in some sort of blender or something and make it into a powder. It's a little more faster acting that way, and you can just use it the way it is too, and it'll naturally break down slower. It all depends on how you want to use it. Green sand. This stuff's awesome for micro and macronutrients and stuff like that. That's what basically I use it for. It doesn't have much of an NPK, but it's definitely good stuff to use. Kelp. You'll be using a lot of that in organics. the Fox Farms. This is the all-purpose 555, and this also has the micro Ryzen or whatever in it, so that's good to inoculate your soil with. And again, Jumpstart, same thing, a little bit different NPK, but basically the same thing. The guanos, gotta have the guanos. This is high phosphorus, high nitrogen, and they make this one right here has the phosphorus. It has a nitrogen. It has a 1 and then a 10. You can actually get just phosphorus back guano with no nitrogen in it. And if you're using that in the later stages of flowering, you would want to use that rather than something that would have some nitrogen in it like this. And then this stuff right here is alfalfa pellets. You can buy them in a feed store, and they're good. And this is, I just put this in a bag for example. This is large chunk of vermiculite. I like the large chunk. This is coarse perlite. Again, it's a larger chunk. I like it. Bigger the better. This is oats. This stuff right here would have to be blended or crushed because it's full oats. But you can also use oatmeal, and that works just as good, and that's already crushed. And we use that later on in flowering to make teas because the fungus loves the oats. It loves growing on it, so we use that later on in teas. And then also dolomitic lime, have to have that. That stabilizes your pH. And then some liquid stuff. This is just Maxi Crop liquid seaweed, Maxi Crop liquid fish. They're all great organic, 100% organic additives. There's thousands of organic additives out there. There's, this is just from mulch laying around your yard to eggshells and whatever. So there's a lot of stuff out there. One thing that I heard it works great for calcium and stuff is crushed oyster or clam shells. I don't have them. I haven't yet found them, but definitely when I do find them, I'm going to add them to the mix. I like to try to keep my soil as